How do you think that the recent ITA expansion that happened last year plays into the rate of global trade given the current trends?
Well, we think ITA expansion is a very important agreement, and it's an agreement to lower tariffs in an array of products that turn out to be very important for technological growth and technological change. The tariffs on many of these products are already pretty low, but the amount of trade that occurs in these products is very, very large. So we think that while it's not a big change in trade costs for many of these products, even a small change in tariffs can help stimulate greater trade in those products, and we think that in the long run that has also a benefit by reducing the price of broader technology goods for the entire world, not just members among the ITA expansion.
Do you see any alternatives other than investment to help stimulate trade?
Well, we think that we want trade to occur naturally, and if investment picks up, because investment is relatively trade intensive, that'll have a relatively bigger effect on trade flows. There are other things that drive trade flows: consumer durables, regular consumption goods, but we think that lowering trade costs across the board, whether it's for investment goods, machinery and equipment, or refrigerators, or white goods for houses, or automobiles, or cell phones, we think trying to find ways to lower trade costs, either through reducing tariffs or non-tariff measures, finding more efficient ways to transport goods, the trade facilitation agreement, which should reduce the time goods spend at the border, and that turns out to be a pretty significant tariff equivalent. So all of those things, anything that reduce trade costs will help stimulate trade growth, and that will allow trade to grow at a fairly natural rate. There won't be any artificial stimulus as a result of trying to subsidize exports or anything like that.
What can the World Trade Institution do, if anything, to really help foster that sort of natural trade growth, either through any sort of tools or levers that it could possibly implement?
Well, so a big part of what the WTO is negotiations, and that's what it's really probably best known for. Negotiations, particularly when it was the GATT, the predecessor organization. There's been some successes recently with the Trade Facilitation Agreement, the Nairobi Outcomes, eliminating export subsidies, the ITA that you mentioned. There's been progress in environmental goods. The key thing about the organization is it also helps with transparency. So there's an opportunity for members to see what other countries are doing in their trade policies. We have the Trade Policy Review Mechanism. We provide reams of information about policy commitments, tariff schedules and obligations. So transparency is a big thing. That helps increase certainty, so that if you're a firm thinking about either shipping a good or investing in another country, that you have a clear understanding of what their trade policy is going to be, and that certainty helps you make a better decision on whether or not to invest.